Hi there, we're here today talking scales, and in this particular video we're talking about the blues scale, or some people refer to it as the jazz blues scale. This is a most fantastic scale for you to get improvising with. It's one of the most essential tools that you're going to use, and it's going to give you straight away a sort of jazzy, bluesy type of flavour to your improvisations, which is what a lot of people like about it. It's obviously used virtually extensively with the blues chord changes, and that 12-bar chord progression is one of the most used in the world. So this is quite an essential scale for you to get to grips with. From a harmonic point of view as well, it's also quite a funny scale because it kind of shouldn't work, but it obviously does, and it gives us some great ideas when we are improvising. So let's first of all just look at its DNA. If we take it from a major scale, we would use the first note of a major scale. We'd use the third note, but we would flatten it. We'd take the fourth note. We'd have the fifth note, but we would flatten it. And then we would also use the fifth note in its natural form. We would take the seventh note and we would flatten that. And then we would return back to the octave or one again. So if you're talking about that in tone or whole tone, you're talking about the first gap being a minor third, then a tone, then a semitone, a minor third, and a tone. If you're talking in whole steps and half steps, that will give you minor third, whole step, half step, minor third, and a whole step. And it's going to give you a scale which is going to sound like this. Now this scale can be used over a major setting or a minor setting or a dominant seventh setting, and we will go on and we will show you some examples of that in both major and minor. It's used in all forms of music. It can have a place in all forms of music, but especially within the kind of blues setting, it is the scale that you would want to really have underneath your fingers. There are various patterns that you can use for this, but if you speak to your educator or your teacher, he will give you his favourites, I'm sure, on how best to gain the knowledge of this scale within the 12 keys. The main thing to think about with the blues scale is what jazz educators often refer to as its blue notes. The blue notes being the flattened third, the flattened fifth, and the flattened seventh. These are the three notes which are the ones which kind of shouldn't work, but they give it that kind of bluesy, jazzy type of feel, and they're the ones which are really going to make your improvisation sound fantastic. Okay, so first of all we're going to play you a 12-bar blues in a major setting, and this is just using the blues scale to improvise around. And then if we put that against a minor blues background, we're going to use exactly the same notes, but they were going to give us a slightly different flavour. For those of you just trying to work out the key as well that we've been using here, all the way through this series of videos we've been in concert C. So for those of you playing tenor, that will put you into D.